I have zero motivation to plan out my future because it feels like the world is ending. I feel so lost, but also so stuck. The state of the world is horrifying, and I just don't feel secure enough to invest in a future that isn't certain. I don't know if that makes sense. I had such a straightforward plan for life. Like, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I had options plan A through F, and nothing is even feasible anymore in this economy. They really were like, just go to school and get good grades and you'll be set for life. Like, yay, I graduated with a bachelor's degree with honors. And it's like, okay, so I can whether be unemployed, work minimum wage jobs, or I can be in debt for the rest of my life and go back to school. And it's like, what I want to do, the field that I know I'm going to be happy in, isn't super reasonable anymore because of the job market. And I'm struggling to find the point. What's the point? I feel like time is just moving so fast too. Like, how did Christmas pass? Mentally, I'm still in 2022. I wish I had some sense of security, but nothing is certain. And I wish I had a fast forward button so I could just skip over all of this. All I'm asking for is security and stability. But obviously that's too much to ask for anymore.
Hello everyone, this is Emmanuel Cook. We will be reacting to a new video today, so make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's get into the video.
So I'm in my 20s and I think we're going into a recession. Not sure. People are kind of arguing about it. Economists are predicting it, but then people are saying that economists are changing the definition of what a recession is. I feel like that's just a bunch of mumbo jumbo that people like to say to make themselves feel better because of the political party that they're affiliated with. But those of you who have lived through a recession before, as an adult, what did you do? What do we do? Like, what did we do to make it through? What do we do to get to the other side? And not ourselves, like, what do we do? Is there something that we can do to make it a little easier to keep living?
Okay, my feed is full of young people talking about how much more difficult their path forward is from previous generations, and then older people responding and trying to set them straight. I don't want to be controversial, but let me just give some thoughts from my perspective. In 1992, I returned from 2 years in Japan. When I left, we had just won the Cold War, and the future looked bright. I hadn't consumed a lot of news for 2 years, and I came back to a completely different mindset in the United States. And I had to go to the library. There was no internet, right? So in order to catch up on the news, I went to the library and started to read back issues of Time and Newsweek. And all of the discussion was around the grunge movement and the dissatisfaction in the youth, stemming from the fact that there was a horrible economic environment, there were no jobs for graduates, and this was going to be the first generation that didn't have a better quality of life than their parents. And as I look back, they were absolutely wrong. All of these articles, all of this prognostication around we weren't going to have it better than our parents was absolutely incorrect. You see over time that the same news stories play over and over again. I'm by no means saying things are easy. Inflation is very bad. Real wages are stagnant. Housing is out of whack. But at the same time, the opportunities going forward are there. The end of the movie is this. If a genie appeared, told me I could be 21 again, do I want to do it in 1992 or do I want to do it now? Hands down, I do it now. I think the opportunities going forward are different. The world is changing as it always has, but don't believe that there isn't a bright future. Don't believe that you're going to have a worse quality of life than your parents. And certainly don't believe your parents had it easy. As the Navy SEALs say, the only easy day was yesterday. The challenges change, but the opportunities are there. Don't be discouraged.
So here's my problem. I am 19 trying to invest, buy a car, buy a bike, save money for a house, and buy a PC so I can keep doing my streaming and TikTok and YouTube stuff, right? I've been investing since January. Do you know where the market was at in January? It was at an all-time high. I started investing when it was at the top. And now it is all crashing down and I'm losing all my fucking money. I make $600 a week. 10% of $600 is $60. If I did it correctly, I'd only be able to invest $60 in the market a week. That is nothing. While I lose fucking money the entire time, still have to pay for bills and save up for all this stuff I'm trying to get so I can continue to make money. I am literally losing my goddamn mind. There is not enough money in my bank account or continuously to keep moving around to all these places when these are literally things at this point that I need to get to keep pursuing my shit. And if I go back to school like I want, then I'm missing out on more money because then I can't fucking work as much. And the market just keeps crashing and crashing and crashing and crashing. And everybody's like, buy more, buy more. And you know what? Yeah, I'm still buying more. I literally, like, don't have any other choice at this point. I've dug myself in so big of a damn hole that at this point I can do nothing but throw more money in and just pray it eventually goes up. Like, this is terrible. It's just not enough to go around for what I need. And this is me just crashing out about it because I don't know what the fuck to do. And it's not like I don't manage my money. I am sitting here, like, constantly trying to save and invest, and because of that, I literally just have no money right now because the market is crashing. So I guess I'm waiting to sign up for fucking college another year because I literally just cannot afford to right now. So yeah, that's awesome. Like, even if I went to go get an undergrad, I wouldn't be able to work as much, and I'd be missing out on the money that I already need to keep saving. Long story short, times are tough for people our age right now. And I'm sure I'm not the only one having issues, but oh my god. And yeah, like, I've only been out of high school for like 10 months, but I don't think it should be this terrible. Like, is it this terrible? Has it been this bad for everybody? Honestly, like, somebody please tell me if it has been. I literally just do not have the money to go around. And then on top of that, I just have diminishing mental health. You're not seeing it right now, but I got done crying like 45 minutes ago. And I can't even pay for therapy because I'm too busy saving up for all this other shit. Like, it just runs so deep that it's literally just almost nonstop what I think about at this point, and it drives me nuts. Like, I've been trying to find the light at the end of the tunnel for like 6 months to a year now, and I just don't see it. And I'd like to add, people have it worse than me. I don't even make a car payment. I pay my insurance, but that's about it. I don't have a car payment. I don't rent. I live at home and have my phone bill and pay for, like, most of my food at this point I pay for. But, like, other than that, it's pretty much clean slate. I don't pay for a credit card or anything. I don't have a credit card. I don't finance anything. I've never taken out a loan. Like, I'm pretty straightforward when it comes to where I spend my money and stuff. But it just seems like it's literally not enough. And I don't know what else to do other than just keep working my ass off. So, yeah. For those of you that actually watch my videos, I'm getting my new phone today and should be back to it pretty good this week. So, stay tuned. Yeah. I'll see you guys later.
Alright, everybody, today on the Fuck Around and Find Out channel, this is what really gets me. And let me know if y'all have this same, issue. So, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris got so screwed when it came to the economy last year. And everyone said that prices were too high, the gas was too high, eggs were too high, there needs to be a change, Biden and his team said that, when you looked at the numbers, you knew it showed that it was a growing and it was a good economy. But voters said, well, we can't feel it. I can't feel a good economy. Okay, so you vote in a convicted felon, a scam artist, a 6-time bankrupt billionaire, and y'all thought for some reason that was a good idea. And I know people are going to be like, well, he had great economic, success in his first term and everything, but yet those are the same people that will never acknowledge that he actually inherited a booming economy by, a black man. But my question is, all those people that were shitting on the economy last year, giving Joe Biden and Kamala Harris so much hell, where the hell are y'all? Where are y'all? I don't know about y'all, but my eggs are still high. My gas is still high. People losing money left and right like it's no one's business. I don't remember this happening under Joe Biden's watch. And so it brings up a deeper point to this. And this is the whole point I'm trying to make, is that it was never about eggs. It was never about eggs. It was never about the economy. It was never about gas going up. Because guess what? All those things that those people were complaining about last year, it's still happening right now. And yeah, I'm a little frustrated. I really am, because it did not have to be this way. We did not have to elect this criminal, this criminal into the White House. And yeah, part of it was, he's a con artist. He's a scammer. He knows how to manipulate. He knows how to talk to his supporters and whatnot. But there is another sector of Americans that voted for Donald Trump simply, and if you don't want to admit it, I'll admit it, because she was a black woman. That's what it was. You can hide behind the economy. Y'all can hide behind the war in Gaza. Y'all can hide behind any other bullshit reason you want to give us, but people know. People know. So now we fucking around and find out. But all those people that talked so much shit last year about the economy, I don't know where the hell y'all are right now. Where you at? I can't find you. Because it was never about the eggs.
If you ask me, I do truly believe that it's time Generation Z stops distracting ourselves with pointless and tedious conversations about things like dating, and we start actually addressing what I believe is the biggest problem in our society today. And that problem simply is that the living standard is going to shit. With every day that passes, we are witnessing the economic demise of our society, and we are distracting ourselves with consuming entertainment, dating, and relationships, rather than speaking about what's actually going on and what's really screwing us all over. You can call it fear-mongering, you can call it being an ultimate skeptic, but the truth of the matter is, if we don't start to try to take the power back and take a stand in our country, in our society, we are going to get to a point where poverty becomes the majority. The vast majority of people in the United Kingdom are going to be living in poverty. That is the economic trajectory that this country is currently heading towards. Housing is completely unaffordable, yet taxes are rising. The number of children having to rely on free school meals is rising. The number of families that have to use food stamps, the number of families that have to go to food banks just to make sure they eat that day is rising. Middle and working class people of the country are starting to be eradicated. It's getting to a point where there is no middle. There's just the extremely rich and the poor. That's the direction we're heading in. The opportunity to build a good credit score is dropping, because to build good credit, you need to have good credit in the first place. How does that make sense? The quality of public services are dropping exponentially. We're constantly hearing every day about how the NHS is overwhelmed. People complain every single day about how terrible and unreliable public transport is in the United Kingdom, even though we are taxed up to our noses, we still can't rely on having quality and efficient public services. Day by day, month by month, year by year, this country is becoming worse and worse for the everyday working man to live in. And this is the biggest problem. They try and make you believe that, the way out is to just get rich. Not everyone can get rich. Not everyone is going to get rich. Spoiler alert, they are the 1% for a reason. Not everyone has the financial capability. Not everyone has the intellectual capability to become a hyper-successful high earner in this society. So how on earth can you create a society where everyone is trying to achieve an impossible goal when only 1% of people are going to be in that tax bracket? A proper functioning society is supposed to benefit everybody. And right now, the only people that benefit from this society are the extremely rich. Every day you're being lied to by the likes of Andrew Tate and the David Goggins, telling you to lock in, telling you to work hard and build a routine. That's not the way. If hard work was the way to get rich, then a lot of foreign people, a lot of immigrants who came in from other places would all be millionaires. If hard work was the way to get rich, because they work their asses off, yet they can barely afford 3 meals a day. I think it's time that us as people stop being so selfish and so self-centered and conceited within our lives and only trying to make things better for our individual self, and start to band together to say that what's going on right now, is bullshit, and we need to take the power back. We need to do something. We need to riot. We need to protest. And yes, I'm saying it, protest. Go out, stand up to the government, look them dead in the eye and say, we are tired of your bullshit. A government is supposed to represent the people, not control them. This is supposed to be a democracy that we live in. I said it before and I'll say it again. We live in a dictatorship. The only difference is that our dictator changes every 4 years. But make no mistake about it. As it stands, you don't have a say. So we need to fight for one. All of us, collectively, black, white, gay or straight, trans, I don't care who, I don't care what box you fit in. At the end of the day, when it comes to a situation like this, we are all human beings. And right now, our countries that we live in, our society that we work so hard to benefit is doing absolutely nothing for the everyday person, which most of us on this app are.
A quick reminder, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's continue the video.
Shit, I get we're in a recession, but why is life so fucking expensive? Just had to pay the IRS fucking like $600 for my taxes. Mind you, I get taxes taken out of my paycheck every single week. Still owed them fucking money. Awesome. I'll give you that money. Sure, okay, I get it. I have to be a US fucking citizen. Of course, then a week later, I wake up and my phone screen doesn't work. Hop my ass over to Apple. Oh, $300 to get the fucking phone fixed. Awesome. Yes! I've had this phone for fucking 3 years. It's not even worth fucking $300 anymore. But I can't afford to get a new fucking iPhone. So yes, I will get a $300 fucking replacement. Yeah! And then guess what? Rent is almost due. Yes! Another $750. Woo! Oh, and guess what? My shampoo and conditioner and face wash also completely fucking ran out at the same time. Woo! We need to revert back. We need to go back. Like, this is not it. This is not what life is supposed to be like. I can't do it!
Comparing this crash from the last few days to the financial crisis of 2008, like the housing crisis or the COVID financial collapse, they are none of them the same. They all had completely different factors, different reasons why they happened. And comparing them, a crash is not a crash is not a crash. They're not all the same. The housing crash was a bubble that popped. Immediate recovery, right? Immediately keep going. The COVID was because of a disease that kept us all trapped. So crash and then recover. Okay, but this is tariffs that are not even in effect really yet, that are just being announced, that we have not seen the effects of. So we are just guessing what the effects of. And even worse, we have changed who we are in the global economy. The U.S. used to be the gold standard. We were trusted. Now this shatters that trust. The European Union is like, we're going to make our own credit card because we don't want to be dependent on the U.S. and Asia. Like, the people are doing their own thing now. We broke everything apart. This is a collapse that we have only just begun to witness. So that's why I'm like, don't buy yet. Do not buy yet. Don't buy a house yet. Don't buy something big yet. We don't know what's happening yet. It's not every crash is the same. Let me just leave you with that.
As someone that has served in the United States military, as someone whose dad has served in the United States military, as someone whose grandfather has served in the United States military, you guys, we don't have that much time to prepare ourselves for what's to come. And I really am looking at the efforts to do the boycotts and things like that. That's great that everyone's coming together. But that's not going to really do that much because it's going to take a consistent battle, and boycotting your dollars does not matter to these billionaires. It might hurt them, but at the end of the day, it's only going to hurt them for that day, and they're sitting up laughing at us and probably going to make some stickers for their sales coming next week because they already know and anticipate you coming back to their businesses to shop or to spend your money. Now, what the governor up in Maine is proposing is for the state of Maine to pull back on paying any federal taxes to the government. Now, if every state got on that accord, which we know it's not going to happen, but if every state got on accord and started to withhold federal taxes from the government, that might wake up something. But we don't have the power collectively to hurt these companies. Boycotting Amazon and things like that, they own Whole Foods and all these, like, there's no way it might hurt. Like I said, it might make an impact, but this is not going to be something that is going to be effective. It's going to be like a pinch. It's like, did you at least pinch the bitch? Did you at least pinch the bitch? And not to try to be funny about it, but seriously, you need to be preparing. Do not do anything frivolous with your money right now. You need to be saving. You need to be getting a cash reserve for food. You need to be buying food. You need to be buying ammunition. You need to be buying pew-pews. So you need to get it together. Many of you did not read Project 2025, and everything is going in the playbook, like in order, pretty much. And I do know that by April, a lot of the smart cities are supposed to be coming into play because it was put out there. But I think literally with the changes that they made this week and everything is moving so fast, we literally have 3 to 4 months before everyone starts to feel it. This is not to fearmonger you. This is to prepare you. And like I said, as someone that has served in the military and watching what is occurring right now, we're not ready for what's coming. As a collective, we're not ready.
The Dow Jones has dropped more than 450 points yesterday, making it one of the most volatile weeks for the stock market and the financial market since Trump has taken office. And as a millennial, all this is saying to me is that, one, we're definitely going into a recession if we're not already in one. And two, this will be the second financial downturn and crisis that we, the millennials, will experience in our lifetime. I have no home. I have no savings. I'm out here vibing and living my best life. At this point, I don't know what else can actually happen to us. And then what about my little brothers, like the next generation? Like, what are they gonna do? But yeah, I'm about to catch this flight. And by the time this weekend's over, we might be in another 2008 credit crunch.
So the trust economy is in crisis right now. Trust holds the very fabric of our society together, and I don't think people truly realize that. I mean, it's this invisible currency that allows everything around it to function. Like, think about banking or money in general. Like, a dollar only has a value because we trust in the system that's upholding it. Our government only governs because it was built on the trust of the people that it was meant to serve. But that trust is all breaking now. It's completely eroding. One of the signs of an eroding trust economy is this silence and contradictions at the same time. When I go online, I'd like to think that I can trust that my data is safe, right? Then I'm told that TikTok is a national security threat because China has access to my data and we must be protected, or at least our data must be at all costs. Yet here at home, Larry Ellison and the rest of Silicon Valley has turned American data into the most profitable black market in existence. Like, Larry Ellison has sold your data to anybody with a checkbook 3 times over. I guarantee it. To me, trust in tech isn't broken by data collection. It's broken by hypocrisy, a system that calls one a thief, a villain, and the other a celebrated innovator. When I think about it, my data is probably the most valuable thing about me, like, if I'm being honest, and yet I don't even know what it is. Like, can I hold it? Can I see it? Can I sell it? Am I able to profit off of selling my data, or can only other people sell it from underneath me? Oh, that's right, silly me. If I want to access any of my own value, I have to trade something for it, like my time, my labor, my attention. And when it comes to attention, we see the same level of trust erosion play out in real time with the influencer problem. I mean, technically speaking, I guess I'm a part of that problem too, because I recently hit 10,000 followers, so every video I make could potentially be monetized, $2.25 per 1,000 views. So if I don't hit those benchmarks, then I'm basically leaving money on the table, and that's not a very good capitalist girly of me. But that relatability doesn't really stick around for long, because at 100,000 followers, people begin to question your intentions, and then at 1 million followers, well, everybody assumes everything you do is an ad. The bigger the audience, the harder it is to hold on to that trust. People can just feel the monetization just seeping through your content, and when everything is for sale, nothing feels real anymore. But the trust doesn't stop there, because we have drones flying over New Jersey, and the government just keeps kind of shrugging off the responsibility. No answers, no transparency, just this kind of silence that says you don't deserve to know. Look at trust in healthcare. That's fucking shattered because the deal has been broken there. Your life is valuable has now turned into your life is profitable. Like, that you can assign a direct value to saving your life. How do we trust a system that has promised us ownership if we worked hard and if we played by the rules? That 40 hours of working a week would be enough to give us a home home, a future, a life with moments of peace and stability. Instead, we just rent forever. We own nothing, not our homes, not our platforms, not our jobs, not even ourselves. I wish the biggest problem was just that trust is eroding, but the actual problem is that the systems that are making it erode don't seem to care. There's no accountability for this erosion, just indifference.
Hi everyone, today I want to talk about why democracy is failing young people. Why do I say that? Take a look. We have social security issues, impending healthcare issues, and many things, infrastructure that are not maintained. And if you look at the national debt, depending on what country you are, I think most countries, people are taking on thousands or tens of thousands of dollars of debt. Now, did anyone consult the young people that this is your responsibility? Did anyone ever say that these things are not good, or at least the benefit that these supposedly debt is benefiting the young people? Of course, they're not consulted because it never existed. And now you have a situation, and the situation I alluded to earlier in my other videos, that when you have one population that is rich or comparatively rich, you have an entire industry that built around this population trying to maximize the profit. So what do we see? We all know that boomers have the majority of wealth. Now you can argue that this is natural case for all society, but I would say that right now, the older generations have disproportionately large amount of wealth, and that creates several issues. Number one, you have industries like healthcare, like long-term care, or mostly health, targeting the old people. And on the other hand, you have a lot of extravagant spending like cruise, like gambling, that's also targeting the old people. And also with the rising cost of living, makes life not easy for anyone. But something we can find, but I think a lot of people are on the assumption that when the older generation pass away, their wealth will be transferred to the younger generation. And I think that's not the case. Think about it this way. If you have a drug, if you're developing a drug that you have hundreds of billion dollar industry revolving around developing a drug, and that drug only, let's say, enhance the life expectancy for like 2 years, for anyone in their twilight years anyways. Is that good spend of resource? I don't think so. Now, I'm not against people spending the money that they have to enjoy a lifestyle that they have. Like, for example, I save money and when I'm old, I should expect to use my money to satisfy me in however way I like. Yet currently, thanks to our genius politicians, the way Social Security and many public benefits are constructed in a way basically demanding young people to pay into the pot. It's like a Ponzi scheme, except it's run by the government. So I think that's unethical. And I think that's majorly responsible for why young people are feeling the pinch. But if you even extrapolate the idea further, like what happens when the older generation completely dominates the younger generation? It's probably not good. And again, I'm not saying this to be against the older generation. We can draw example from other societies. For example, China, Korea. Like, for example, think about this hypothetical situation. Ideally, young people should be having kids by their 30s, maybe 2 kids, whatever. Now, think about a society with decreasing population, and suppose the 2 young people are the only child. What's going to happen in the 30s is that they will have 4 parents to take care of, where they're into their 70s and will likely having some type of health complications, and the 2 young people, or young kids that will take care of. So a total of 6 people. What kind of productivity do you think is possible for sustaining this kind of burden? Let's call that. Probably a lot, and probably we don't have it. So naturally what happened is people having less kids, so the family won't have 2 kids, they have 1, which comes back to the exact same premise, that you will have inverted pyramid where older people taking more and more resource from the younger generation, and the younger generation see no hope, or at least the only way to sustain some resemblance of dignity is by not having family and not having children. So what is the ultimate consequence? You will see politicians saying, oh, look, we need more immigration to do the job that the local people do not want to do. Now, what are those jobs? Yeah, those jobs are labor jobs predominantly, or service jobs. And there may not eventually be enough local people to take care of the older generation. So what's going to happen? you have lots of immigrant coming here, and likely you will take them when they're like, let's say, above age 20, so that you don't have to educate them for 20 years. And they will bring with them experience or whatnot. But these people, you see, you're not building the pyramid from the ground up. You're essentially skip a beat, went to the middle layer. It's like building a castle in the cloud. What I mean is these people will age faster than you otherwise would, suppose you have a newborn. And they will bring their parents, aging parents, and will also consume the resources that the society have. So I don't think this in the long term, what's going to happen is it won't solve the issue. You still have an overhang of large amount of old people. And we already see that. Look at any developing country. Look at the projection of the median age. Like Canada, a few years ago, I checked, the median age is 35, and it's going to be 38. Now, depending on some provinces, the numbers are even worse. This cannot be sustainable. Now, one way the capitalists have found out is that you can use lobbying to steer the government for your own benefit. And we see that the big corporations have hundreds of people, in aggregate, hundreds of people lobbying the government to implement policies that are damaging to the general population. But there's no advocate for young people. And young people will always be outvoted by the older generation. But again, I'm not saying this to be, in a sense that it is a zero-sum game. It is not when you have an issue that's continually draining the vitality and the blood from the society. It cannot be sustainable. I think that's a key point. And as long as we have politicians that are appeasing to the corporation and appeasing to the older generation, you will have the system will perpetuate and the problem will get worse and worse every year. So now the obvious question is, how can you ask people to reduce their benefit? And I think that's where every society came to the conclusion that you cannot do that. You can delay the retirement age, but there will be strike. There will be people walking on the street demonstrating that this is unfair. And I think if young people, especially the new generation that wants to have a sustainable society, they need to find a way to increase their political power, either through lobbying or have strategic alliances with the capitalists. Now, I think that is something you have to figure out, and it does need to have a movement, or does need people, especially younger generation, need to understand that this cannot go on forever, and it will be worse when you're older. And eventually the system will break, and if democracy cannot address this issue, then some other system will, and it's probably not going to be too pretty. I think the last part I want to talk about, the last part I talk about is, well, can young people just vote for the existing political party? And I think that's a rather naive sentiment, because if you look at the incumbent political party, either conservative, liberal, whatever, they're all filled with old people. They're still representing, for the most part, the interests of the old. It's just depending on if you want some fiscal responsibility, or if you want immigration or green stuff, or green sustainability. And I think there's not really one that's looking at this multi-generational conflict. So maybe that's a way to go for the future. I'm opening my eyes to see if there's a solution to that. All right, thank you.
I appreciate you guys watching the video today. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.